Hey you guys, welcome back. I'm so excited today. We will be talking about Ruth, and also my earrings are Ruth inspired. I have a great friend named Jilly, and she makes these earrings from clay. She is super talented, so you guys might want to go follow her. So I will put all of that in the description box below. But let's jump right into why I felt like telling this story of Ruth telling the story of Ruth is so important to our lives and how we live a life of remaining loyal and faithful in what God is calling us to do. Well, I know that you may know a little bit about the book of Ruth and what happened, but let me go back and explain just a little bit. Ruth was the daughter-in-law of Naomi. Naomi's husband passed and then her sons passed. So Ruth stuck with Naomi, even though Naomi told Ruth, hey, I don't have any sons, they're gone, and go back to your mother's land. But Ruth did not do that. Ruth stuck it out with Naomi. She basically said that where you live, I live. Where you go, I will go. Where you die, I will die. Your people will be my people. So Naomi was just like, okay. Ruth just went along with Naomi. So once they got to the land, and Ruth proceeded to work in the fields. Like, she worked in the fields from sun up to sundown with little to no breaks. And a man, the name of Boaz, noticed Ruth. And one thing that I want to point out about this is that even though Ruth had struggled and she had great loss, Ruth remained diligent in her work and she stayed busy. And a lot of times that we have great loss, or we start to lose things, that we become so stuck and not able to move. But this is a woman who remained busy. She remained faithful. She remained loyal, even to a woman that she honestly didn't have to be loyal or remain loyal to, because her son and Ruth's husband had passed away. So one of the things that I want to point out about this is that sometimes people may not understand why you are in a position or why you continue to be faithful and loyal to someone, but that is God, and that is character, and it's God wants us to show love to everybody, no matter who it is, no matter what it looks like. Let's always practice and do what's right. So one of the things that I do want to point out about Ruth is she did what was right, and the conviction of her heart led her to stay with Naomi. Also, even with her staying with Naomi, she found favor, and she found favor with Boaz. A lot of people was not really for her being a Moab woman, but her character, once you have great character, you influence a lot of people. So even though she wasn't accepted at first, her character was such a great influence that a lot of people spoke highly of her and began to love her and adored her in that way. And that was one of the things that Boaz paid attention to and what caught his eyes. It wasn't the physical, it was her heart, it was her loyalty, it was her remaining faithful to a woman that she didn't have to remain faithful and loyal to. Ruth was very humble. She had a humble spirit. Even when Boaz came to her and asked her all these questions about her working in the field, she remained humble. She kept her face to the ground, and she answered his questions, and Ruth had favor on her. So a lot of times that we get into these situations and we will really clam up and don't know where to go, and we will just sometimes just let our circumstance determine how we feel. And Ruth did not let her circumstance determine how she felt. And also, God is so good in what he's doing, and if we follow God and we listen to him, then we will birth kings, we will birth nations. And one thing I would say about that Ruth birthed a king. She was the great grandmother of King David. So one thing I do want to leave with us is, how does your character define you? When you are up against something or something is taken away, what do you do? Do you let the obstacles determine how you act? Do you let the obstacles determine your character? Or do you be resilient in your actions? Do you be resilient or strong in your thoughts when you are up against any type of obstacle? I want to leave that with you guys. And for me, I want to be a woman like Ruth was. I want to be loyal and faithful in all my relationships. God is calling us to be nice, be kind, have a heart of God. So we want to most definitely make sure that we are operating out of pure love. And this is like a result of operating out of pure love and doing what God is calling us to do, even when it may not look right to other people. The book of Ruth is one of my favorites, and I'm so excited to be doing this video on her. And I just pray that we all could learn a lot about her. If you have not read the book of Ruth, I encourage you all to read the book of Ruth tonight or whenever you can. And let's proclaim that we are women of great, noble character, women of strength, women of integrity, women of godly principles. God is calling us to abide by him. Once we start being obedient and allowing God to lead us and to lead us by the Spirit, then there's no limit to where he's going to take us. And that was proven when God blessed Ruth with Boaz. She didn't have to work. Like, Ruth found favor with God. And when you find favor with God, there's no limit to what he would do. He would restore the years. He would restore everything that you lost. And I just want to say, for me, I want to proclaim that I am loyal like Ruth. I am faithful like Ruth. God is a redeemer and a restorer. So let's all practice and put into action on what we could do to be more like Ruth. Let me know how you felt about this, or if you want to add anything to this in the comments. I will be looking forward to reading and responding. Thank you, guys.